Thank you everyone for coming. So obviously this is our next graduate webinar with Kasia Academy, and we're going to do calculations today. So I hope you guys all brought your GPHC approved calculator. And I just want to reiterate the fact that we obviously have a qualified pharmacist here, so please utilize this opportunity to ask as many questions as you can. If you get stuck on any calculation question, obviously please ask Fayaz. He will help you with it. Don't be embarrassed, don't be shy. Even if it's every question, it's absolutely fine. But please utilize this opportunity. And yeah, I'll pass it over to Fayaz.
Hello guys, let me just share my screen, guys. Give me 1 second. Can you all see this PowerPoint? Yeah, spot on. Thank you. Hello guys, good evening everybody. My name is Fayaz. I'm the founder of Kasia Academy. Thank you very much to the BPSA for inviting me to do a webinar specifically on calculations. So I hope every single one of you who has joined this webinar takes something useful from this webinar. Okay, so yeah, so you're all hopefully doing the exam either in June 2025 or November. Couple of things before I give some advice for you all. I think it's very, very important for calculations to understand the basics. Many a time, every time on WhatsApp or on these social media platforms, everyone gets flabbergasted with all the most difficult calculation questions. So I think it's very, very important to understand the basics. The GPHC rolls out the I think it's 12 calculation topics for your framework. So it's very, very important that first of all, you understand the fundamentals, which is the basics, and that's going to create the foundation of your calculations learning. Okay. Number two, you have to work very, 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 very hard. Okay. The calculations exam, it is a exam that is designed for it to be hard. You've all done 4 or 5 years at university. So it's like the very last hurdle now. Um, so the more you study, the more calculations you do at home, at work, whenever you get your spare time, free time, make sure that you utilize resources accordingly and very wisely. And thirdly, discipline and consistency. Um, if you do calculations every single day until your June or November exam, then in my professional opinion and personal opinion, you should be absolutely fine. But if you cram it in end of May onwards and try your best to do it for about 4.5 weeks, it may not, it might not help you pass. So I think key thing here is understanding that it is crunch time for you all, and to also understand that if you are disciplined and consistent over the next 10 and a half, 11 weeks or so, then you should do really, really well. Okay. um, and I think by you guys studying 4 or 5 years, you owe your future self still another 11 weeks of working very, very hard. Okay. So this is just some golden advice from myself to those of you who know who I am. I am Fayaz, the founder of Kasi Academy. For those of you who don't know who I am still the founder of Kasi Academy, but equally, I am quite a calculations aid in your guys. I actually passed my GPHC exam at my second attempt. Calculations was my weakness, and as you can see plastered on the presentation, I went from 17 out of 40 to 30 out of 40 in the calculations exam at my second attempt. So that is a 76.7% increase. So you're learning from somebody who unfortunately failed, um, and is now giving advice and help to trainee pharmacists like you guys. So, like I said earlier, it's very, 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 very important to practice almost every day if you can. Because what that does is that builds your confidence, that builds your accuracy, it builds your ability to focus on your weaknesses. So many a time, I'm sure all of you guys will have a lot of questions to ask me, but many a time, how I realized and how I did that big increase was I really did focus on the really annoying, hard topics that I did not like at all, um, and making sure that you guys can uh, go over the ones that you are getting right and you have to get right. It's a non-negotiable. You have to get that cost saving one right. For example, do you know what I mean? The more you do do the calculations automatically, the better that you're going to get. Okay. Secondly, you have to know your formulas. So the you don't get told which equations you should and shouldn't know. But I always advise trainees to just learn the common ones, i.e., BMI, NNT, clearance one. I know that the creatinine clearance one, it can be given, but you just never know. How to work out the cost saving ones, just make sure that you all know your basic equations. Most of the time, you will be given that, but it doesn't take a genius to learn these equations. And if you're going to do these questions every single day, then they will become autonomous. So you don't even need to learn it. Okay. And I think, as I keep mentioning, focusing on your weaknesses, you have to make sure that if you know that calculations is your weakness, and if clinical is better for you, then you need to allocate that time appropriately and wisely. Over the next 10 to 11 weeks, the weather is going to get better, which means that people will be going out, enjoying the hot weather, but it is going to be hard for every single one of you. I was in the exact same boat as you guys, but equally, you have to understand that over the next few months, once this is over, that's it. You can all hopefully qualify and work as a pharmacist. So, in the grand scheme of things, if you work really hard, you will be absolutely fine. And I think another very valid and key point here is try your best to go through all the GPHC learning points from previous sittings. I think that is a like a golden ticket that the GPHC gives you trainee pharmacists, where you guys can have a look. Anybody can have a look at the learning points from previous sittings, from 2018 or 2020, for example, and just that will help you with your revision. And I think don't go crazy by looking at it in great depth, but that will help you. It will help shape the potential sort of questions that can get asked in your exam. Okay. So I think this is a very comprehensive revision plan that I kind of figured out for you guys a few days ago. I worked out that there's around 10 and a half to 11 weeks for your exam. So if you've not already started your GPHC revision, especially for calculations, then I think now's your start. If you've already started your calculations revision, then you can still utilize this over the next week or so. Focus on areas where you are not fully confident in. That might be dilutions, that might be cost saving questions, that might be pharmacokinetics, it might be something else. But make sure that within the next 1 or 2 weeks, you iron out your weaknesses. I see every single year, every time, trainees will want to attempt all the past papers first rather than understanding the GPHC framework. And then that's why on WhatsApp and other social media platforms, there will be an aura of anxiety around now, around this time, or around Easter or after Easter. So it's important that you guys understand that and stay in your own lane rather than looking what your friend is doing on WhatsApp or what your friend is not doing. I think that's quite important for me to mention. Look at the GPHC framework. It's on the GPHC website. I think it is on the next slide. Um, and just use that as a tick list. If you know that pharmacokinetics is your one of your weak points, work with it. Give it a few days where you can get yourself better at it, because the calculations framework is a very, very, very small framework. So you could actually cover the calculations framework in, I'm putting 1 or 2 weeks, but in a matter of days, really, if you really put your heart and mind into it. Okay, weeks 3 to 5. If you've not done no calculations revision at all, um, then you should really make a start. Go through all the calculation topics a good 3 to 4 times, and make sure that you are fully competent. If you've got your university kind of workbooks or study books or study guides, make sure you really do make them worthwhile and keep doing them, because at the end of the day, your university fourth year, there's not that much of a difference for the GPHC exam. Okay, you should be doing around 10 to 20 questions. Once you are very competent, and also once you've ironed out your weaknesses, don't be doing questions before. Don't be running before you can walk. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, because calculations can get very tedious. So that's my advice. And then from week 5 onwards or earlier, depending on how competent you are, you should be doing as much past papers as you can. Um, I think when I did it, I think I did around 30 past papers, and I've always said that that should be the rough ballpark figure. Now everybody will say, "Oh, I can't do 30 past papers. I'm working full time." You definitely can. I did that. So anybody can make the most of your weekends. Try to do one in the morning, and one around this time at night, on Saturday and Sunday. That's 4 already done. Maybe if you might not be able to do a paper every single day, you might be able to do half a paper after work, so you can still get 2 to 3 past papers done while you're working. And I would highly recommend all of you to take some form of annual leave, at least a good 2 to 4 weeks before your exam. I know that some employers can be a little bit unfair, but just have that conversation with your employer. See if you can make up the work after your exam, because end of the day, this is what you've all worked hard for. This is why you're doing your trainee pharmacist pre-reg. You hopefully want to be all become a pharmacist, so make the most of the time that you can potentially get off from your work. I think that's quite important to add as well. Lastly, I know that calculations is going to get a little bit boring once you know that you're doing really well. Um, the Once you've done a past paper, so say for example you've done University X's past paper, for argument's sake, uh, the following day, if you're still attempting a new past paper, before you start the new past paper, I want all of you to make sure that you go through all the questions you got wrong from paper X's exam paper. So what does that mean? So say you've done a past paper and you've got 30 out of 40 in that specific past paper. The following day, you do the 10 questions that you got wrong first. Do you all understand what I'm saying? So what that does is that irons out irons out your weaknesses. That enhances the weaknesses that you've got wrong on the previous day. And before you've attempted a new paper, you've identified and solidified and made the weakness into a strong point. I think that is probably, I'm probably going to safely say that's probably the best advice that I'm going to give you guys tonight. So before you start any new calculation, it doesn't need to be a past paper. It could be almost anything. Could be a calculations, a book, a chapter, or anything. Any questions you get wrong the previous day, the following day you make sure that you try your best to get that right. So if you got 10 wrong, you might get 5 out of 10, but you're still 5 marks better than yesterday. And I think that's very, very important. I don't think anyone else would give you this sort of advice, in my opinion. But that's how I did it. That I'm just giving you guys a blueprint. What helps myself go from 17 out of 40 to 30 out of 40. So these are all personal experiences that I have done as a trainee pharmacist. So I think that was very, very valuable advice. So there it is. So that's the calculations framework from the GPHC website. So yeah, you've got all the dosage regimens, kidney function, concentrations, dilutions, molecular weight, infusions, etc. Use this as your like tick guide, or maybe use a highlighter. Put green into the topic where you know you're really good on. For example, estimates of kidney function. I know for myself I'm green on that, but let's go on. I don't know, infusion rate. Oh, I might put a red highlight on that. So that would indicate to me that six are green, for example, and six are red, which means that over the next 1 or 2 weeks, like I said, iron out your weaknesses. You now know the six topics that you're going to focus on. It's not about running. It's not about you have to do everything quite systematically, and especially for most of you working full time, you have to do things in quite an ordered manner. So if there's six topics on there that you're not particularly like keen on, work with it. It's going to be boring. You're going to get most of the questions wrong, but that's why you're doing calculations, because in the exam you're hopefully going to get most questions right. It's not designed for you to get all the questions right in April. It's about a slow process. You're better off peaking around end of May, June time rather than in April. Okay, so everyone, if you've not had a look at the GPHC framework, take a photo of this, or it's also on the GPHC website. Okay. So yeah, just some key formulas. It's not an exhaustive list, so please don't use this list as just learning it or memorizing it. BMI, weight in kilograms divided by height in meters squared. Okay, creatinine clearance. You will most likely be given that, but it's just good to know. Note that the constant for males is 1.23 and the constant for females is 1.04. Okay, NNT, number needed to treat, is 1 divided by ARR. ARR is the absolute risk reduction. Okay, could pop up. Um, Dilution, concentration decrease is a basic C1V1 that hopefully you're all used to. And same with moles, BMI moles, it's all part of the triangle. So once you know the triangle, you'll know how to work it all out. Okay. Uh, ah, so guys, before we start, I might take some questions before we uh, make a start. So what I've done, guys, is I've created, I believe, 7 questions for all of you. All of you should have your GPHC approved calculators. I'll be giving all of you around 3 minutes per question. I'll put a stopwatch on, and then what we'll do, we'll go over the rationale for each question. Okay, so these questions that we will start with, they're not there. If you get 0 out of 7, that's great, because I'm not saying it's great. You should be getting full marks, but at least you're learning something. Okay, so it's not designed for you to. It's not a replica of the GPHC exam, but equally, it's a good understanding of the areas that you may need to focus on for your calculations revision. Okay, but I think before we start, I might answer. I might, if anybody's got any questions for like 5 or 10 minutes, I don't mind answering any questions that any trainee pharmacist currently has. Maria.
Just to add, Fires, there's 3 questions in the chat.
Okay, I can't seem to see. I mean, I can't see my laptop. The right hand side of it is it's kind of not working the screen. So if there is any questions, Maria, are you okay to verbally tell me, and I'll answer it if that's okay.
The first question was, where can we access these learning points, the GPHC ones?
Yeah, GPHC learning points will be on the GPHC website. Um, if you guys go on Google and just put, for example, November 2024 GPHC exam learning points, it should be there. And same again, June 2024 GPHC exam learning points. They should all be collated together under like a one link. If not, just go through the dates separately on Google.
Thank you. And then the next question was, where would we get 30 past papers from?
Good question. Where would we get? I guess you'd get them from somewhere. 30 past papers, if you're currently with training a training provider as part of your pre-reg, they may give you some. Um, but equally, I believe that there can be like Dropbox links that can be circulated year in year out. So just take a keen look and keep keenful eye on these Dropbox links later. Really, but yeah, generally it can get circulated every year. Really, just depends if your friends who have already qualified, if they've got some that they can kindly lend you some, or just send you it, and that's fine.
Thank you. And then the last question was, oh, there's another question.
No
Um,
worries.
Following on from the past papers one, does it matter how old the past papers are?
Good question again, guys. I'm not like I'm not gonna do paper X's uh, paper from 2017, for example. We're in 2025, so I'd probably stick with if I was a trainee pharmacist right now, I'd probably stick with post COVID onwards. So from 2020 to 2025, or even 2021 to 2025. That's the kind of ballpark range that I would study from. I'd probably keep the 2025 ones until I'm a little bit more competent. Same with 2024s. Do the early ones first. It may give you a little bit more confidence. It's all about confidence. Calculations is absolutely all about confidence. It's kind of nothing to it apart from, can you answer that question? Whether you can answer that question right now, it's not. It's going to be the exact same if you can answer the same question in June. So whether you know it or not, and is all how can you combat your nerves and fear. The reason why I failed my first exam, first attempt, why I scored 17, was not because I did not prepare. I prepared very, 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 very hard for it. But two things I think why I failed. Number one, I failed because of fear. I was fearful for the GPHC exam, especially the calculations exam. I don't know why, but I was naturally immensely very, 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 very scared. Um, and number two, I don't think I prepared as smartly and as cleverly as what I should have done. Um, and that's why I set up Kasia Academy to help hundreds of trainee pharmacists not fail the GPHC exam. That's always been our like sort of mode to help trainees. And secondly, the exam itself, it's a mental exam. So how you wake up on the day will determine if you're going to pass or fail that exam. So it's such a pressurizing exam. So please, guys, yes, this is a calculations webinar, but equally, when there's an opportunity to seek help, that might be with BPSA, that might be with pharmacist support, that might be with your employer, that might be with your friend, that might be us guys at Kasia Academy. Reach out. There's always so many people that are willing to help you guys, and I think that's very, very important because it's such a high pressured exam. You do need that extra sort of TLC for yourself because you don't want your brain to crumble. Because that's what happened to me in my first exam. My brain was like on 200 mile an hour. It was in such overdrive that unfortunately I collapsed in the exam. Not literally, but mentally I was very, very, very gone. And then second time around, 3 months later, I learned all that from the first sitting, and I made sure that my mental state was so much opposite to that, and gladly I was able to score such a dramatic increase. And this is why I am doing this to help as many trainees just like yourself. Okay, so right, guys, do we have any more questions or?
There's two more. Sorry. Someone asked, is suppositories and allegations still on the exam because some people have said there have been changes?
Yeah, I mean, the GPT framework is a very, very small framework. So if a certain somebody's saying that's not on the framework, I'd still learn it. I am aware that allegation probably hasn't been on the exam in about 5 or 6 years or something like that. Obviously, I don't work for the GPHC, so I can't give that sort of advice. Same with suppositories. If you've learned allegation and suppositories from from your year 4 university, then you should know it anyway. So it doesn't mean that you should just cross it off on any allegation or any suppositories type questions don't turn up in the exam. It may well turn up. That could cost you potential 2 3 marks in the GPC exam. So if it's something that you've been doing at university, at your university level, then I'd continue to master that because that's what you've been taught. If it's like I know that some universities just do not teach allegation. So if that's the case, don't learn it. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of a bit like patient preference. You should either learn that or not. If you have already been taught it, great. If you've not been taught it, don't be too scared because the whole exam is not going to be 40 questions on suppositories and 40 questions on allegation.
Thank you. And then the final one for now, is someone said sometimes the questions are lengthy in the exam. Any tips on how to not lose too much time? And should you read the question first, then the background context?
Yeah, very good question. So I was actually going to go through this in my when we do the rationale, but I will actually mention it now because hopefully it will help you, help all of you. Whenever I attempt a calculations question, what I've realized personally, it's not something that anybody has taught me. I've just kind of picked up on it, and now I'm teaching you guys. I look at the scenario, quickly read it, and then I make my own bullet points. Now you're probably wondering, how the hell does Fayaz make bullet points within a 3 minute calculations question? Now you have to, like what do I keep saying? When you look at calculations in about 3 4 weeks time, if you've not started, your brain will automatically start doing stuff. Okay, so what does that mean? We're going to go through a scenario later. We're going to go through all the questions, but I literally break it all down. So, for example, if it is a BMI related scenario that's got 6 7 lines in, I pick out the weight, I put it as a bullet point. Second bullet point would be the height, for example. Third bullet point would be what is it healthy, is it not healthy? And I'd create like a series of 4 to 5 bullet points, for example, for that specific question. And that is done in literally 10 to 15 seconds, if that. Once I've done that, I then use those numbers. Remember, this is a calculations exam, it's not an English exam. So I use those numbers and I plug them in into the calculator. So it's as if you've gone through it systematically, but you've just broken the scenario down in absolute short, clear, concise bullet points. And I think that is literally potentially one of the reasons why I scored so highly in my second exam, is because I very quickly dissected what the question was asking me, and I broke it down in absolute small chunks, and then I used those small bullet points, plugged them into the calculator, and then tried my best to get it right, get the answer right. And then you also use the bullet points as like your revision checklist. Have you used the BMI? Have you used the height? Have you used the C1, V1, or C2, and you have to work out V2, for example? So it really, once you start doing this, initially, guys, what I'm telling you guys is like, whoa, you're all going to be like, what is this guy actually telling me to do? But if you really, really understand what I'm telling you, within the next 2 weeks, you'll take this for every single question that you do, whether it's a simple addition or a massive 10 liner scenario. because you're just focusing on the calculations. Because most of the time, let's be honest, the calculation questions that we do, most of the time the scenario they are overwhelming, they are long-winded, and they are boring to read. So very quickly, if we dissect it all and make our own question utilizing the bullet points, then it becomes a lot easier for you guys. I hope all of you understand what I've just said and hopefully implement the bullet point method into your calculations learning, but as well as the questions that we're all about to do. Is that okay?
Yep. Thank you.
So, guys, we are now going to make a start. Let me just get my stopwatch. So I'm gonna give everybody. Let me just get my stopwatch ready, guys. Let's have a look. So yeah, we are. I think I'm gonna give everybody about around 3 minutes. Um, some questions that I might feel are a little bit harder. I might give you a little bit extra time. This is not an exam, guys. So whether you get 0 out of 7 or 7 out of 7, it does not matter. Okay, just make sure it just kind of makes you understand that is your calculation on the right trajectory, or if it needs a little bit more help, or if it needs everybody needs help, and that's why you're all here today. Okay, and even for me, that's why I'm here because even I need a bit of help in calculations. Okay, so guys, 3 minutes. We are going to do all 7 questions together. So I'm going to remain quiet for around 20 minutes or so. Um, some questions, I'll give you guys a little bit extra time, which I will tell you guys. So I hope you've all got a pen, paper, and your GPHC approved calculator. So we're going to make a start on question one. One minute left, guys. Gonna move on to the second question. So this is now the second question. Okay, so you've all got 3 minutes. 1 minute left, guys. Just gonna move on to question number 3 now, guys. Okay. For this one, I'm gonna give 2 minutes. Around 40 seconds or so. Question number 4 now, guys. So yeah, question number four, guys. It's got a couple of resources. Okay, hopefully you can all see it. Make a start, guys. We're gonna move on to question number five, guys. 3 minutes, guys. Move on to question number 6, guys. Last two now, guys. Make a start, guys. Last question, guys. Make a start, guys. One more minute, guys. So, guys, that concludes, hopefully, that concludes the seven uh, examination style questions. So, as I told all of you earlier, the questions in this PowerPoint does not reflect your GPHC exam because the GPHC can create questions how they want. Okay, so I would, I still would not take it with a pinch of salt. I'd still make sure that you can get as much right as possible. Okay, so we're just going to go through the questions step by step. But I believe that many of you you will probably ask, can you get this access to the questions? So I believe that Maria will be very kindly. It will be on the BPSA YouTube page follow. It might not be today, but it'll probably be at some point within the next few days. Okay, guys. So we'll go through the rationale. So please don't be worried if you can't see the question. Okay, I'll go back and forth. So question number one, just to remind you guys, it was around this dermatology ward. So bullet points. In my bullet points, I'd have if 500 milligram vial, I'd then put concentration of 50 milligram in 1 ml. Um, and then thirdly, I'd put each 250 milligram of drug displaces zero point 0.3 mil. And then fourth bullet point, I'd put diluent needed question mark. Okay, so that's the question. You guys have all attempted it. So I believe the answer is here. Um, so yeah, as what I told you guys earlier, 500 milligram vial of the drug needs to be reconstituted to give a concentration of 50 milligram in 1 ml. Okay, the 500 milligram vial, therefore, it is 50 milligram in 1 ml. Um, it then tells us that 250 milligram of the drug, erythromycin, displaces zero point 0.3 mils, and hence, therefore, 500 milligram displaces zero point 0.6 mil, and therefore you must know this equation. So guys, write it all down. Volume to be added equals final volume minus displacement volume. So it's 10 mils minus 0.6 mils is 9.4 mils. So the correct answer is 9.4 mils, guys. Okay. So question number two was regarding this Mr. V, who's on a specific insulin quick pen. He tells you that he's been taking 12 units and 24 units in the evening, 12 units in the morning. He's on going on his honeymoon holiday to Bali for 4 weeks. It's a wonderful place, is Bali, guys. If you've not been, it's a really nice place. The diabetic nurse has advised Mr. V should be given one extra pen to cover the period. Okay, so it says state the number of pen or pens he requires. Um, so diabetes, it is part of the endocrine chapter, which is a high weighted chapter within the clinical exam. So, make sure that you guys can get these sort of questions potentially right. So, we know that he's taking 12 units in the morning and 34 units in the evening, I believe. So, it's 36 units as a daily dose. So, we're multiplying that. He's going for 4 weeks. So, 4 weeks in days is 28 days. Okay. So the way that I've done it, I've just done 36 units multiplied by 7 multiplied by 4. Or what you could have done is 36 units multiplied by 28 days, which gives you the exact same answer. Okay? It tells us that it comes as 100 units per 1 mil, the quick pen. And due to it being in a 3 mil cartridge, it would then be 300 units. So we're just getting the units, 1008 units divided by 300 units, which gives us 3.36 pence. In the GPHC exam, guys, you will not put 3.36 pence because it'll ask you for a whole number. Okay. Remember with insulin pens, always round up. So in this case, it would be 4 pence. But if you read the question properly, it will have said that the nurse wants to give him an extra pen to cover the period. So we've got 4 pens um, plus the additional 1 pen from the nurse. And so the answer is 5 pence. So these little tedious things, that's where myself, that's where other examiners, that's where GPHC can kind of find you out if you didn't read the bit where it said couple of things where you could have tripped up is if you did not round it up appropriately, if you just kept it as 3 pence, that would be incorrect because you would have put the answer as 4, so that would have been incorrect. Okay, so that's number 1 trip up. Number 2, if you've not read the mark where the nurse wants you to give him an additional pen. Okay, so the answer is 5 pence, guys. So question number 3. Pharmacy student working with a big pharmaceutical company. Um, the ratio of the groups, so this is part to do with like ratio and parts. If you don't really understand what this question is, take a look. So it's basically a very complicated parts related question. So if you've not seen this question before, it's like a miscellaneous question, guys. Okay. The ratio of the group is 1 to 2 to 3. So what I did was I just had 2 bullet points. Number 1 was 1 to 2 to 3. And the second bullet point was each arm contains 120 patients. And the third bullet point was how many patients altogether. Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3. So 3, 4, 6. We've got 6, a total of 6 parts. Okay. If each arm basically means each group contains 120 patients. How many patients have taken part in this research altogether? So all literally what we're doing is 120 multiplied by 6, which I believe gives us 720, I believe. Yep. So 6 parts in total. Ratio of that mark scheme is incorrect. It should be 1 to 3. That's an error on my side. So it's 3 to 1, 6 parts in total. 120 multiplied by 6 is 720 patients in the big study. Okay, so question number 4. Yeah, creatinine clearance question. If you guys get a resource within your calculations exam, please use it. It's not there just for show. It's there for a reason. You have to use the resource pack, resource information, BNF extract, SPC, EMC extract, equation for use. Okay. So Mrs. Patel, 52 years old. She weighs 65 kilograms. Creatinine, serum creatinine is 135. She's currently taking alogliptin, 25 milligram. She's been admitted into hospital. What's the most appropriate daily dose for the patient? Okay, so you've been given all the information in front of you. You're just plugging these numbers into the calculator. You're not really having to do much thinking. Okay, so we're just going to go into the answer. Creatinine clearance, we've used the equation. It's given as 44.065. According to the BNF, you reduce the dose to 12 milligrams once daily if the creatinine clearance is between 30 to 51. Okay, so this could have been completely different. This could have been halved. I could have used other numbers. So please, guys, in your GPHC exam, if it is a creatinine clearance question, it may potentially be as easy as this one, or it might be a little bit more difficult where you may have to extrapolate more information from your specific resource given to you. Okay, so as mentioned in the red and blue, always use the resources provided to you. Very, very important. Question number 5. Big thing at the minute. Manjaro Quick Pen. It's gone viral on TikTok. For those of you who are on TikTok, I'm not on TikTok, guys, but I am aware that it's gone viral. So, Mr. Patel comes into your pharmacy. He wants to lose his weight. He's overweight. Um, he wants to know how much weight he needs to lose to achieve a personal BMI target of his of 22. Okay, so sometimes the BMI questions could potentially be as easy as basic work out the BMI, or it can be as, okay, how much weight does this patient need to lose? So, key points: 79 kilograms, 150 centimeter in height, and he wants to achieve a personal target of BMI of 22. But remember, fourthly, round your answer to the nearest whole number. That's very, very key in this specific question. So, as we are going, we should know the BMI equation. Everybody should know. So, we know that BMI is weight in kilograms in height in meters squared. So, the weight is BMI multiplied by height in meters squared. So, what we've got the BMI, target BMI of 22, multiplied by 1.5 squared, which is 2.25, which gives us a weight of 49.5 kilograms. So, in order for him to achieve this goal, it's 79 kilograms, which is his current weight, minus 49.5 kilograms is 29.5 kilograms. But like I put a span in the works, round your answer to the nearest whole number. If you put 29.5, you would have got this answer wrong in the GPHC exam. The answer is actually 30 kilograms needs to be lost to achieve the desired BMI target of 22. Okay, very, very important question. That is not a basic BMI question. You can take this question and plug your own numbers in. Okay, so I think, is that the last question? No, it's not. It's question number 6. Okay, yeah, pharmacokinetics. Classic question. You've all done it at university level. You basically just plug in the numbers in and going down until you get to 28 hours when the half-life is 3.5 hours. So it's quite a long-winded question, but hopefully you've all got it right. Um, yeah, there we go. So we start off on the initial plasma level, which is 1500, 1500 milligram. Keep going over the half-life, keep dividing by 2 until we get to 28, okay, which gives us an answer as 5.859375 on your calculator. However, the question said, round your answer to the 2 decimal places. So hence the answer would be 5.86. These sort of questions, don't be alarmed, the GPHC can say round to the nearest whole number. In that case, the answer would be 6. Round to the nearest 1 decimal point. In this case, the answer would be 5.9. Round to the 2 decimal point places, 5.86. So get used to rounding. We've not really talked much about rounding, but if the answer does not stipulate a rounding instruction, then that answer will be 100% a whole round number. Okay, if the question stipulates round your answer to 1 decimal place or 2 decimal places, then that would mean that the answer would be a decimal place based answer. So if you're getting all whole numbers, you probably got the question wrong. Okay, so it's very, very important for you guys to understand that. If I'm going to repeat that again, if your GPHC question does not tell you any rounding instructions, then your answer will be a whole number. If your GPHC question states in decimal places and you've got it in a whole number, then you've got the answer wrong. Okay. So, question number 7. Question number 7. Yeah, another miscellaneous based question. Some of you may have come across it. Some of you may not have. Remember, in a GPHC exam, you will get miscellaneous questions in your GPHC exam, which you may never have looked at. Like literally, you might come across 5 to 8 questions that you've never ever seen. But hopefully, all that calculations revision will have paid its dividends. So where is it gone? There it is. So yeah, 30 minutes at 4 liters per minute is 120 because it's 60 minutes. It's 240 liters. Then at 60 minutes, it's telling us two episodes is at 240, so that would be 480 liters. You add them both up, which gives us 720 liters in four episodes. However, it's asking the question is asking how many where's it gone? After day one, how many liters of oxygen is left in the cylinder? So that's not the final answer. The final answer is not 720. It's 1450 minus 720, which is 730. So the final answer would be 730 because that's what's left in the remaining cylinder. Okay? If it just asked what the total daily consumption was, then it would be 720. Okay? I think I've got some more slides for you guys. Yeah. To summarize, guys, very, very important. Take a photo of it, guys. Put it as your phone wallpaper. If your calculations is your weakness, I'd definitely look at this and what I'm saying, which is focus on your weaknesses, guys. That's what is very, very important. Be prepared to ask for help and get the necessary help you need now. It's not about you getting help end of May or early June when it's a bit too late. It's about getting the help now. We're in April. We can help now. You can help. You can master your calculation questions and topics right now. Okay, go through all the previous sittings of the GPHC learning points, which what I mentioned earlier. It's on the GPHC website, or just go on Google. Okay, do the GPHC sample questions every 3 to 4 days. The GPHC sample questions for clinical and calculations. I think for calculations there's 15 questions. There was only 10, and when I did it, and now you got 15. So make sure that you're getting 15 out of 15 every 3 to 4 days. Those are the official GPHC questions that your council is giving you. So make use of it. Make sure you're getting 100% every time. Okay? Once competent, once competent and competent only, and once you've covered all the framework, only then you should be starting past papers. I hope you guys really understand what I've just said because don't run, walk, guys. Very, very important, okay? Do around 30 calculations past papers minimum. The more you do, the better. Okay. And do calculations every single day, no days off. Like calculations for me was my biggest weakness. And hence I made sure that I made it my best friend. And that's what I did. Now I don't need to make it my best friend. Now it's your time to make it your best friend. So, it's very, very important. You guys understand that. And as always, guys, if any of you BPSA trainees or students, if you guys need any help for your combo course, or if you've not joined a combo course and you're wanting to join a combo course, our combo course combines everything. It's not just calcs, it's OTC, law, clinical, MEP, everything you need. Okay, so if you guys do need it, what I have done, I've given everybody like a coupon code, quite a nice coupon code actually. So if any of you who are interested in the Kasia Academy combo course, then you get £100 off by using the code BPSA. So once you use the code, the full combo cost is actually only £149.99. And that gets you clinical videos, calculation videos, rationale, OTC help, MEP help. Gives you the 150 pages of the Cassie Academy active recall clinical notes that enabled me to score 105 out of 120 in the GPHC exam, and it's never been as low as £149.99. So for those of you who are interested, I would definitely highly recommend you to potentially go ahead and keep studying. And if you need the help, that's the code. Our website is below, cassieacademy.co.uk. To get £100 off, all you have to do is add it to the basket and chuck in the code BPSA. Okay, nice and easy, guys. I think that's about it. Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Any final questions? It's 8:43. Wow, it's late, isn't it? But if anybody has any questions, I just want to say thank you very much, kindly again to Maria for uh, organizing this webinar for not just for herself but for all you guys. She's done a wonderful job in collaborating with us at Kasia Academy. So thank you for inviting and making this possible. Hopefully look forward to many more webinars for you guys. And secondly, I want to thank all the trainee pharmacists who have come on this very, very lovely sunset warm evening and taking your time out to do some calculations with myself, Cassie Academy. So it's a big honor for me. Thank you very much. And hopefully I want to wish all of you guys a massive success. Keep working hard, and I'm sure you'll all be absolutely fine. Maria, if you've got any questions or anything that people have asked.
So thank you so much, Faiz. That was excellent. We have a couple of questions. So I think the first one was going back to question one. Someone asked, do we not use 250 milligrams? And can you please go back to that equation in question one, I think.
Yeah, so take a picture of that equation. You can play around with the equation, but this is part of the displacement volume sort of scenario. So once you all get to uh, the answer is 9.6 mil, I believe. It's a fairly straightforward forward question because it's asking for you have a 500 milligram vial, but you only need 250 milligram. So as long as you know what you're doing, these sort of questions will always look like this. There won't be a question that will be different to this. So once you've done it 5, 6 times, all the further questions you do will be absolutely fine. Okay.
Thank you. And then there was another question regarding question three. If you could quickly go over it.
Again, yeah, that's fine. Very quickly, guys. It's very, very miscellaneous thought of. It might not even pop up in your GPHC exam, guys. But this is a ratio-based question. Okay, so all we're doing is plugging in the numbers. So we're adding the ratio, which is 1 + 2 + 3, which is 6. Each arm. So I think the confusing bit is probably the word arm. So in a scientific study, arm basically means group. Okay, arm is group. As long as you guys know that, then all you're doing is we want to know how many people have taken part in this research together. 120 multiplied by 6, which gives us 720.
Thank you. And then there was another question about, so regarding question six, do you round at the end or at each step? Which I think you briefly mentioned, but just in case.
Good question. Very, very good question. So, in these sort of questions, especially for pharmacokinetics, I'd just round. Where's it gone? I'd put everything on whatever is on your calculator. I'd put it on your whiteboard or paper in the exam. Okay. So for example, 46.875. I could have just put 46, but I've put 46.875. Same with 20 hours, 5.859375. You just don't know what the GPHC are going to ask. So you're better off, you are better off just writing every single down for these sort of questions, and the GPHC will be crystal clear what you would like they would like you to do. So please don't be worried with regards to rounding. The GPHC, the past papers that you are doing, the questions that you'll be doing, wherever you're doing them from, they will have concrete, clear instruction to you. Okay. So I think many a time trainees can get a bit scared and worried. Oh, should I put it all down or not? But just put it all down and read what it says. So in this question, where's it going? It says at the end, round your answer to the 2 decimal places, which would mean automatically put everything down from your calculator and then work with what you have at the end. Okay.
Thank you. And then just moving, well, following on from rounding, what was the point about rounding if they don't state the whole number bit? Oh, so they missed that part when you're talking about the whole number part and the rounding in the question.
Okay. So let's go to let's go to this question. Classic example. Okay, we're back to question 3. This question, eh, the answer automatically would be a whole number. Why? Because I've not given you a rounding instruction. So, for example, if you guys got the answer to be, I don't know, 720.55, for example, you've got the answer wrong because the rounding instruction has not been given to you. Okay? if a rounding instruction has been given to you in terms of decimal places, or in terms of significant figures, or in terms of nearest 50, or nearest 100, or nearest 1000, then the GPHC and your past papers will tell you that. Okay?
Thank you. And then there was another question about the insulin question. So if you calculated 3.34 pence and the question stated the number of pens with no excess, would it be 3 pence?
Yes, it would be. So the GPHC again would be with the where's it gone? Yeah, with the diabetes sort of questions. I have to say I don't write the GPHC questions, guys. I wish I did, but I don't. But what I can say is that the GPHC can do almost anything with these any sort of questions. Okay, so they can add a little bit extra spice, a bit of black pepper, a bit of salt, and then they could kind of overwhelm you guys. So it's like asking what how big is a two-piece string. So it, I think all those diabetic sort of questions, hopefully by the time you guys do your exam, you'll have done so many diabetic sort of questions. So whether it's excess, whether it's no excess, whether it's an added 1 pen, whether it's not an added 1 pen, whether you use everything in the cartridge or not, whether it's 300 units per mil or 450 units per mil, like some double star pens, for example, you guys will be competent. Okay, so in terms of a diabetic related question, you guys are going to have so much exposure to these questions when you are doing your further past papers and whatnot. So you'll get a lot of knowledge in that regard as well. So I'm not going to, not that I'm not going to answer that question, but it just depends on what scenario you get given from the GPHC. But all the questions that are set out by the provider, they will be absolutely three things: crystal clear, they'll be very accurate, and they will be very detailed in terms of if you need to give a specific rounding instruction or not. Okay, so please don't be worried.
And then I think the final question I can see is it's about the rounding again. So if it doesn't say to round the final answer, do we round or give to one decimal place?
If it, yeah, so I think I've mentioned this a million times today, but it's fine. So if the question doesn't state and your answer is not a round number, then potentially have a look at your working out. Okay, because the GPHC potentially can help you because it tells you specific rounding instructions. So, for example, like uh, this one, for example, if it didn't say round the answer to the nearest whole number, then it would be a different answer. So, round instructions, when you guys do more calculations, you guys will be a lot more comfortable, and you will be a lot more accurate, and you will be more in tune with the sort of questions that could get asked. The more questions you do in practice, the better it is for your learning. Remember, you're not just passing the GPHC exam, you're passing to become a pharmacist. Okay? So study, revise, search, revise in the sunny days when all your friends on Snapchat are chilling. It's only 10, 11 weeks. So my honest and open advice is work hard, stay consistent, stay disciplined, and get help. Don't be shy in getting a combo course or a course, because end of the day, it's there to help your progress. It's not there to hinder your progress. So whether you choose Kasia Academy or not, it's not really, I'm not fussed about it. But equally, utilize a combo course that's right for you, that's going to help you while you're at work, that's going to help you while you're not at work, i.e., you're at home at 9 o'clock and I'm here. So, that's basically where potentially Cassidy Academy differs from not slating anybody, but that's where we can potentially differ, where we we can help pastorally, and because I failed, so I kind of understand the concerns and the sort of questions that you guys have. I had all this a couple of years ago, and that's why I'm helping you guys. Is that okay?
Thank you so much. Is it okay if I quickly share my slides?
Right, yeah, go for it. Shall I stop the share? Let me see. How do I do that? Right, stop. Yeah, I've stopped it.
Okay, so thank you so much again, Fayaz. So you went through like tips, you went through the questions, and you provided a comfortable environment for all to practice um without belittling anyone. So thank you so much. It was really, really nice of you to do that, and thank you as well for showing your expertise and for going through all the questions that we had. Um, just to mention, with the upcoming events, as of yet, we have the 83rd annual conference. So this is obviously happening this weekend and then next week as well. So if you are attending, it'll be lovely to meet you. And it'll be a week packed with fun, motions, night outs, and yeah, a lot of memories as well. So looking forward to meeting you all that are coming. And I just want to say thank you everyone for joining. I really hope you learned something. And yeah, thank you all. And thank you again, Fayez, as well. So, yeah.
Ah, thank you very much, guys.